Which camera's better, the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the iPhone 11? The winner's probably obvious, but the differences might not be. Let's check it out. First up, we have a photo that's taken in broad daylight. The iPhone 15 Pro Max on the right, the iPhone 11 on the left. And as you may see, the contrast on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is quite a bit better. And especially as you zoom in, you'll see a lot more detail in the 15 Pro Max versus the iPhone 11. And the colors are just a lot better. And I think that's where I started to see that the iPhone 15 Pro Max, definitely is a better camera, and it better be if you're spending that amount of money. As we take a look at this photo, we see that it's lower lighting, and as we zoom in, the 15 Pro Max is quite a bit sharper, but it's actually not that big of a difference. I'd say the 15 Pro Max has colors that are similar to real life than the iPhone 11, but if you were to show me both those, I would say they look pretty darn similar. And then I decided to cycle through the different zoom settings on the 15 Pro Max, and you can see that the iPhone 11 just doesn't hold up when it goes to 2x zoom, or especially when it goes to 5x zoom. That 5x optical zoom lens is very, very nice. But what I wanted to do in this video is just compare the main cameras. I wanted to compare the 1x zoom photos from the iPhone 11 and the 15 Pro Max. Moving on to the next photo. Again, when you see these photos side by side, I feel like there isn't that much of a difference. It's only when you start zooming in and pixel peeping, as they say, that you start to realize that, yes, the 15 Pro Max is better, but it's actually not insane. These are the ultra-wide photos taken around 2 p.m. and the sun was pretty high in the sky. There was some cloud coverage, but I would say that the 15 Pro Max is quite a bit sharper when you get into the details, especially around the edges. But again, if you're going to be posting this on social media and you just do slight enhancements, you really won't notice that much of a difference, I feel like. I feel like this photo in particular was the hardest for me to notice any type of difference. The sun was setting and you zoom in and there's still not that much of a difference between the two. The 15 Pro Max photos are 1 to 2 megabytes larger than the 11 photos, and it's really interesting to just see the comparison. And I feel like if you were to see either of these on social media, I feel like that's where the majority of these photos go, is social media. If you were to see either of these on social media, you'd be like, oh yeah, great photo. Not much of a difference. Here, the sun is already set, and again, they look pretty comparable, but once you look around the edges specifically, you realize the 15 Pro Max is better, but not too much better. Now let's reverse it and check out the selfie. So you look around my hair in the iPhone 11 and you realize that it didn't do the best job cutting out where my hair is. Whereas the 15 Pro Max did a much better job with the portrait mode than the 11 did. And that's the first noticeable difference where I'm like, wow, this is quite a bit better. And then the last photo is just a close-up of this gorgeous little pup, and you can see that there is more detail, more definition in the fur. It's a bit warmer. You're to post either of these on social media. The one on the right will look a little bit better, but marginally, especially on a smaller phone. So there you have it, a little comparison between the 15 Pro Max and the 11. And I feel like those results are pretty interesting. I'm no professional photographer by any sense of the word, but I do think it's interesting putting these photos side by side and comparing them, especially since the models are 4 years different. I think the technology has improved for sure, but it's not like reinventing the wheel by any means, because I mean, it's the same company making the same camera, but I think upgrading, there have been some noticeable differences, especially just having those extra lenses. But staying on that same main lens, I mean, if you have an older phone, I think upgrading to the newer phone because of that main camera isn't a reason enough. So there you have it. There you have it. The more you know.